That afternoon with Mom, there was a cat on the lawn. The mallards by the pond were there too, so it must have been late summer, and there was a mole I knew had been in the yard by the hill of grass he had pushed up. Our enormous cats were nearby, asleep on the futon. The roosters were crowing their lungs out next door, and I could imagine my long-haired neighbor whispering to no one, unspooling her loneliness onto her empty driveway, while this fist of a feral cat ate potatoes in the grass to keep himself alive. All of us, the cats, the mallards, the mole, the neighbor, my mother, if push came to shove, every one of us would eat the French fries out of the grass, right? So that's that chapter, and then that was chapter 4. And just read this, chapter 32. So there's a big gap between them. But during that time, I was sick during that, and finally got diagnosed and was heading into surgery. And this is the first I've ever read from this book out loud, so this is fun for me. I hope it's fun for you. This short chapter was just an attempt to explain what it's like to be wheeled into surgery for people maybe who haven't been. It's not about the surgery itself. It was just such a strange sensation, and I wanted to write about it. So it's called Wheeling into Surgery. The back of my bed is raised up so that I am sitting almost upright as I'm wheeled from the little yellow curtained room through a hallway, past a reception desk of some kind, and into the operating room. I've had to say goodbye to Craig and my mom, the two most important people to me. For a moment, I'm bereft and afraid, and then I'm reminded, not unpleasantly, that we are all essentially alone, that every journey comes down to this moment when only our eyes see what we experience, only we feel our hearts thumping, only we notice the green tile of the operating room and how enormous and bright the operating lights are. They look like bugs' eyes, with countless bulbs built to reflect the brightest light possible, right up inside me where no eyes or light have ever been, like the deepest ocean or darkest cave, from utter darkness to blinding light. This is my life, I think, taking it all in. This is my life. I am wide awake, and a nurse leans into my face, smiling gently as she puts the back of my bed down so that I am lying flat. I smile back. She tells me her name. I don't remember it. There is a man in there, too, fussing around. He has dark hair and is not the doctor. The nurse calls for the doctor on a phone, I guess, although I can't see her. Where is he, she wants to know. I can tell he's supposed to be there already, or maybe it's the anesthesiologist who's missing. I miss the anesthesiologist myself. The guy with the dark hair and green scrubs who is fussing around is near my hand, and I say very quietly, hello. And although he's wearing a mask, I can see that he smiles at me with real warmth, as though he'd forgotten I was there and is so pleased to see me. He looks very busy, but I can't help myself. Will you hold my hand? I ask him. He stops what he's doing and slips his gloved but warm hand into mine and pauses and smiles again. He is better than anesthesia. And then the anesthesiologist slams into the room, and the man in green drops my hand. Sorry, says the anesthesiologist, sounding not exactly apologetic. He asks me what I like to drink, and I tell him I like martinis. Vodka, he asks me. No, gin, I admit, although I don't mind vodka. He fills up a syringe, or maybe it's already filled when he gets there. As he syringes it into my IV bag, he says, imagine this is Bombay Sapphire. I'm going to swear, bless his fucking heart. No kidding, even though I prefer Hendrix. By the time the word Hendrix has gone across my synapses, the bright lights and green tiles and the smiling nurse and the fussing man with the warm hand are all quite disappeared. And that's that chapter. Thank you. I should have warned you. So, do we have time to chat, or?
If there's any questions.
I don't know. I always like the chatting part best. I don't know if anyone has questions or comments.
I just want to say, I read the whole book, I loved it.
Oh, thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Anyone else? Well, thank you.
Thank
again
you.
for your reading. Thank you for everyone here. So we're going to go into the breakout rooms. Again, I would, and I'm sure this goes without saying, but I would